Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Islamic podcast. In Switzerland, an Iraqi Salam singer, in a protest, he burned the Quran.
Where do all these guys come from?
Ever since then, the Muslim world has been very angry, and there's been a lot of protests that's been happening. The Western world, they're not taking this seriously, and you keep hearing this nonsense argument about, it's about free speech, etc., etc.
Stop it.
So recently, Sam Harris, he was interviewed by Piers Morgan in regards to this situation. So basically, Sam Harris tried to argue against Islam. So let's take a look at that clip and I'll make my response, inshallah.
An angry diplomatic row between Sweden and a number of Islamic majority countries has erupted over the weekend. It comes after copies of the Quran were burned and stamped on as part of protests by an Iraqi asylum seeker in Stockholm. Pakistani protesters held anti-Sweden protests in retaliation, and Iraqi protesters set fire to the Swedish embassy in Baghdad. The incident once again raised a debate around whether free speech always has the right to offend even the most firmly held beliefs. This line between religious beliefs, freedom of speech, is there a line that should be drawn?
Well, ultimately, no. I mean, I think we just have speech, right? We just have a contest of ideas, and when ideas actually matter, we really need our best ideas to be operative. Ideas about human freedom, ideas about political tolerance, equality among people. I mean, these are ideas that we really can't afford to compromise on.
As you heard, according to him, ideas about freedom are something that we cannot compromise on. It's kind of interesting that he says that because Sam Harris is a determinist.
What?
Which means he doesn't even believe that free will is something that exists. So when he says that freedom, the idea of freedom is something that he cannot compromise on, or liberals should not compromise on, what does it mean exactly? Because according to him, freedom doesn't exist. It's an illusion. So basically, on a YouTube channel, he had an interview, and he said the following.
To say that free will is an illusion is really just the flip side of saying that the self is an illusion. It gets rid of this fundamental illusion that there's there's a subject in the driver's seat. And so the buck really seems to stop here in my conscious sense of my own subjectivity and agency. And then they're told, okay, but no, actually in the dark, behind all that, there's this whole concatenation of causes for which you're totally unresponsible. I mean, you didn't pick your parents, you didn't pick your genes, you didn't pick all of the influences to the nervous system that got built on the basis of your genetic inheritance.
What's he smoking?
So literally, like everything, the fact that you have a brain, the fact you have a brain in precisely this conformity, the fact that it was, tuned by all of its collisions for all these years with, an environment, you did none of that, right? And yet that is all of that whole mechanism is 100% of the explanation for the next thing you do.
That was so profound. This guy is so full of shit. I mean, he's just spouting complete nonsense and sophistry. By the way, what he says about free will isn't even true, because free will isn't whether you can choose your thoughts or not. Free will is about whether you want something and you get that thing or not, right? That's free will. Like if you want something and somehow that thing became a reality, then you had free will. Let's say that you wanted something and that didn't become a reality. In that case, you didn't have free will. That's what free will is. So he gets that completely wrong. But on top of it, this guy's like a walking contradiction. Like at one point, he says that, we cannot compromise on freedom. It's our important ideas. Then he says, no, actually, freedom doesn't exist. It's an illusion. This guy's a walking contradiction. So Sam's argument in a nutshell is, we cannot compromise on freedom. Freedom is an illusion. Therefore, we cannot compromise on an illusion. That's basically what he's saying.
But the general picture here is that there's only one religion on earth at the moment that imagines that even non-members of the religion should be obliged to live by its strictures. Right. So all religions, or certainly most religions, have some concept of blasphemy. They don't like it when their sacred objects or sacred places or sacred figures are defamed. But there is only one religion that will murder you for doing anything like that, and really with a full clarity of conscience among even majorities in many communities. Will call for the murder of blasphemers or idolaters or others who traduce the sacred tenets of the faith, even if they're not part of the faith. And that religion is, of course, Islam in its various forms. And so there is a contest between this kind of fundamentalist intolerance and modernity. And if we were dealing with the Christians of the 14th century, well, we would have a similar contest with Christians, but we're not, happily.
So according to Sam, you should have the right to say whatever the hell you want. And this is very interesting. Let's think of an analogy, right? Imagine that your child goes to school, right? Every day that he goes to school, he's bullied and mocked. He's bullied and mocked every day. Then one day he comes to you and says that, hey, mom or dad, his children, they're constantly bullying me, mocking me, insulting me, but they're not physically hurting me, right? But they're always mocking me and insulting me. And I feel really bad. What should I do? So they go to the principal. And imagine that the principal says the following. This is a free country where we believe in free speech. The kids have the right to mock and bully your kids as long as they're not hurting him. As a matter of fact, we need to protect those kids and their right to bully your kid. Now, if your children's teachers actually said that, how would you feel? Like, what would you think? The reason why Islam doesn't allow this type of behavior is because it creates fitna. It creates disharmony. It creates a lot of negative things in society. That's not good for anyone. And it's not just talking about some people being hurt. It's much broader than that. When you're insulting people, you're allowing nonsense to be propagated in our society. And when I say nonsense, I don't mean any kind of intellectual practice. This is not intellectual discussion or debate. We're talking about nonsense. People are spouting nonsense. Ask yourself, compare, and this is what Sam wants. Sam wants your kid, in this analogy, to be mocked and bullied, but as long as he's not hurt, there's nothing wrong with it, right? Compare this with what Islam teaches. In Islam, we don't believe you can just mock and insult people or their religions. In Islam, we believe that you respect other people's religion and they respect your religion as well. Sure, you can have debate and discussion in the form of giving dawah. You can talk to them and then you can have debate and back and forth with them. But that's done in a respectful manner. It's not done to insult other people. It's intellectual practice, right? This type of respectful debate, dialogue and debate. But that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is people going there and mocking other people's religion for no reason, without any context, and then spreading this propaganda that this religion is bad, which then leads to other people to believe that followers of the religion are also bad people, right? That's what is the issue here. And the issue isn't simply that people saying whatever they want, right? That's not the issue. And Islam is against this. For example, in the Quran it says, "O believers, do not let some man ridicule others. They may be better than them, nor let some woman ridicule other women, for they may be better than them. Do not defame one another, nor call each other by offensive nicknames. How evil is it to act rebelliously after having faith? And whoever does not repent, it is they who are the wrongdoers, who are the true wrongdoers." You can read about this in Quran 49:11. And it says, "And do not insult those they invoke other than Allah, lest they insult Allah in enmity without knowledge. Thus we have made pleasing to every community their deeds, then to their Lord is the return, and He will inform them about what they used to do." Imam Salam said in a Sahih Hadith, "The Muslim is the one from whose tongue and hand the people are safe, and the believer is the one from whom the people's lives and worlds are safe." You read about this in Sunan al-Nasai 4995. In another hadith, it's in Sunan al-Tirmidhi, it says the following. Abdullah ibn Masud reported, the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, said, "The believer does not insult others. He does not curse others. He is not vulgar. He is not shameless." You can read about this in Sunan al-Tirmidhi 1977. So, in general, the way Muslims should behave is in a way where we're not insulting or attacking anyone. Because we believe in peace in a sense that because the thing is that how can you have peace in society where everyone is going around insulting everyone? Right? You cannot have a peaceful society like that. So what Islam teaches is that you should respect other people's belief and they should respect your belief as well. Imagine this analogy was real, right? And you actually had your kid being bullied by other kids. Which would you prefer? Would you prefer that your kid goes to a school where every kid believes that it's okay to mock and bully people? Or would you rather your kids go to a school where people don't believe that it's okay to mock and bully people? You see, if you follow Sam's ideology, or this kind of like liberal, crazy liberal ideology, then you have to choose the first one, right? You have to believe that if your kid is being bullied in school, as long as he's not being physically hurt, it's okay. It's okay. They have the right to do that. What kind of world is that? What kind of ideology is that? That's messed up. I think everyone who has a common sense would opt for the latter one, which is that sending their kids to a school where the other children do not believe that mocking or bullying is okay. That's the kind of school you want to send your kids to. If that is the case, then why wouldn't you want the same for your society? Why would you want a society where your beliefs are being insulted? You are being insulted. Other people are being mocked. Why would you want to live in a society like that? Like it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, with this I want to end this video. Again, thank you guys for watching. It's a kind of a short video, but I just want to respond to this. But in the next video, inshallah, I will talk more in depth about free speech. So I'll see you guys in the next time, inshallah. Again, if you guys like the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And if you want to support me, you can support me on Patreon or by becoming a YouTube member. And with that, I want to end this video. Thank you guys for watching. Assalamu alaikum.